Alright. We speedrun this. Okay, so lots of juicy skins. I don't know who the fuck Powdered Toast is. Or Roko. I've seen this before. Danny Phantom, Zim, that's sick. Charybdis, don't care. Eset, looks kinda hot. I'm into it. Reskin of Heim, okay. Nemskin, kinda hot. Achilles, probably bad. That's okay. Afro, it's okay. Bologna, probably okay. It's a sick Geb skin. This is gonna be an absolute wicked Odin skin. But I love this theme. This theme is sick. I would love to see more skins like this. I'm not reading all this. Smite Knight, don't care. 300 players. Huh? Oh, okay. Making tier 2 skins viable at Favor is pretty cool. Pretty wicked. A lot of good T2s in the game as well. Don't care. So, I think overall they buffed healing, right? This brawling, this healing buff, kinda sus. Basically you just have a lot more time to auto-heal combat with this. But it's okay, guys. Well, I think all anti-heal now is 5 seconds, right? So now you're only getting one. You're only gonna be getting anti-healed by like Brawlers of Divine, and you're not gonna have Brawling on you and Divine. You don't have to wait. So I guess this is overall a better change. So I'm okay with that. Pretty cool. It was kind of lame if you were a healer and you got out of combat and you still had the Brawling on you. And had anti-heal on you. It's kind of lame. Mids? They're bumping that up. Supports are pretty behind, so it's fine. And they're increasing mid XP. I mean, I'm not really in favor of ever buffing mid farm, but you know, that's okay, I guess. So they got the wrong icon for this, I think. This is supposed to be the healing one. Jotun's Cunning, basically, you just get to ability spam with this and gives you extra CDR. Which is gonna be fun, so I'm down for it. It's a pretty sick item. It's not gonna be too strong, it looks like. It might be kinda poopy as well, but it's cool. It's a lot better than the previous one, that's for sure. And then they changed They didn't change Calamitous, which this thing is really trash, to be honest. Solid buffs? Really? I didn't see that. Successfully damaging an enemy god with an ability. Applies a mark for 3 seconds, damaging them. 10% movement speed and reduces your non-ultimate. Wait, is there a cooldown on this? Okay, 10. I mean, this is cool, right? But is this really worth 600 gold? I don't know. I mean, this item is gonna be cool. This item is gonna be cool, but you have to keep in mind that these things are 600 gold, which is quite a lot. So, I don't know. We'll see. They're making Bancross have the Nimble Rod passive, which is pretty cool, because Bancross kind of falls off, so maybe this helps a little bit. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably gonna be bad, but we'll see. This thing basically just makes you do extra damage, which is pretty solid, I think. This is gonna depend on how much damage it does. If this does a lot of damage, or a noticeable amount of damage, it'll probably be built. As long as Bancrofts can be built, so we'll see. Either way, new glyphs are always cool. They're always fun. Even if they're shit, they're still fun to play with. Competitive level of glyphs ever actually affected the game? Not really. No. The only glyphs that are good are the breastplate ones right now. And even then, they're not really worth until like towards the end of your build. Maybe where you have like 1 or 2 items left. They're just not the most valuable thing. Yeah, then they put Ferocity back onto this, which is probably a better place for it to be on, to be honest. This thing looks criminal. Barra played this and said that it actually wasn't good. But I don't know, dude. As a tank, seeing this, I mean, it just looks fucking criminal. Like, yeah, I don't know. That's a lot of prots being reduced. But, Barra said it didn't feel that good, so we'll see. Yeah, overall, new glyphs, really cool. They're fun. Even if they're shit, you still like to have more items in the game. Just so there's more things to experiment with and there's more situations. Maybe some niches where it could be good. But pretty much all of these, besides... I could see Xe upgrades being decent. Maybe decent. These look pretty decent. But Bancroft's itself is not a strong item. Rod still looks like shit. I'm gonna be honest, I think both of these upgrades are still very bad, but... Jotun's Vigor, it's pretty shit. This thing looks like it's gonna be pretty good though. Like late game, having ability spam, this will be pretty good. And honestly, it might be viable like towards mid game if you're like an Uller or something. This could maybe be pretty good for you. Yeah, I mean overall, it's always nice seeing new items. It's just fun to play around with them. These look pretty good. Magi's honestly a really good choice to give glyphs, I think, because overall the actual item is pretty niche. So having more niche on it, kind of cool. This thing is going to be a pretty good choice for supports if they can fit in their build. Basically, if you lose your bubble, then you give someone else protection from a single hard CC for 5 seconds. Pretty good. Pretty good. And if it runs out and no one actually gets hit by a CC, then they gain basically beats for a second. So I mean, this could be pretty strong in a fight. And I mean, it sounds pretty fun having a Magi shelter with a Hero's Axe. I don't know. Sounds pretty wicked. The first person to yoink your bubble. Or is this just anything? No, you have a bubble with Magi, so whenever someone yoinks your bubble, I guess. They get marked. And then you get 20% movement speed towards them and 10% increased damage, which is kind of confusing. Maybe it could be good for like some assassins. Actually, this could be pretty dirty now that I think about it. There's some gods that really need Magi's in jungle. Like sometimes a Susano, sometimes a Kali. Bubble can be very good for some certain junglers, and if you're full damage... I mean, imagine having an Erendite and a Magi's. I mean, I don't think anyone that's going to build Erendite is going to go this item, except maybe Nem. But it would be pretty sick having Erendite passive and Magi's passive. Is it all gods? No, it's just the person that's marked. The person that hits you with CC, you get 20% movement speed towards them, and they take 10% increased damage. So this is honestly, this is going to be probably pretty viable, I would assume. And this one, I could see some pretty good use for some supports, but it's pretty hard to fit Magi's in your build as a support most of the time, I would imagine. But this one looks like it's going to be pretty solid. And Lotus is going to be a starter item now, including Rangdas, which I think is a good change. Basically, this stops cheese on, like, say, some mage solos or some assassin solos. Some junglers that want to just throw in a Lonos. It just makes a lot more sense now, I think. It's a lot more balanced, and it's not as cheesy. So now it's going to be a starter for supports. And they've basically scaled it so that you get the full Lonos. So at max rank, you just get 300 health, mana, and CCR. You don't get the defense, and you don't get the damage met. So you have to build prots or take damage to get a stack of bravery, which gives you back the stats slowly to get the old Lonos back, which is a lot more balanced. Basically means you have to build prots. It's pretty cool. Oh yeah, Mori. Yeah, I actually forgot about that. Yeah, I think this Magi's Revenge is probably like one of the best items that they have in here so far. I mean, this actually looks pretty strong. Rod is honestly in a very sad state. There's a lot of really cool upgrades and glyphs, but like Rod is just kind of pathetic, dude. This seems like never worth 600 gold. Jotun's cutting sounds really fun. But yeah, I didn't think Memoria. It's gonna be pretty sick. Yeah, other than Rod, I think a lot of the glyphs are pretty solid. I think this gives you, what is it? 8 bonus gold, restore 15 health, 15 mana. Okay. Yeah, so overall this is just a lot more balanced and it becomes like an actual starter, so it's gonna be easier for supports to fit in their build. At least some supports. So I think it's pretty cool. And it's a lot more balanced now, it's not as cheesy. Rangdas, I don't know what they're thinking with this one. To be a warrior or a guardian and build Rangdas? So basically, if you want to get the passive out of this, that gives you a lot more damage dealt and movement speed, good stats. But you need to build a fuck ton of power to remove the stacks. So, I don't get it. Because what warrior, what soul laner is going to be able to do this? I don't get it. A jungler can't build this. It doesn't do any bonus damage. Why would they want CDR? No, these stats are actually very strong for a solo, I think. I think power, HP 5, and CDR, like 10% CDR at the start of the game, those are some strong stats. If it had 15 power, it'd be a strong statted item. But I just don't get it. I don't know. You have to go a full power warrior or warrior or guardian solo to get the actual use out of Rangdas at the end, which Wukong? Wukong is like the only god that could maybe build this? You can't build this on a jungler, you can't. This doesn't give you anything you want in jungle. Erlang solo, you're not gonna go full power on Erlang solo. Kama? Yeah, I could see Kama. Well, no, you can't build on assassins. You can't. That's the confusing thing, is it's only for warriors and guardians, which are gonna be soul laners. It's not good for junglers. And you need to build full power. So, the only god would be Wukong, that's it. That's the only god you can go full power on. Or Chalk, maybe, but I don't think you're gonna have enough power on Chalk to do it. Chalk, you go Trans, maybe Glad, Cad. You're not gonna have enough power. I think the only god you can build this on is Wukong. You don't sell a starter item. If you buy a starter item and sell it, you're trolling. So I just don't get why... I don't get what the goal is behind this item. I think it's overall a better decision to make this a starter. I really do. I think it's sick. But I just don't get what they're going for with this passive. Having to build so much power. It doesn't make sense to me. So, I mean, maybe it's sick on Wukong. I think it's really cool to have these stats on a starter, though. Dude, honestly, I think HP 5 CDR, that'd be pretty sick, dude. That'd be pretty fun to play with. But, warrior mids? I mean, there are no warrior mids besides Wukong. And that's pretty shit. Yeah, it's just... I think this is literally a Wukong item and that's it. I don't know what other warrior could build it. Like, I mean, we can look. If we want to. Hold on. Let's look. Warrior mids? They don't exist. Warrior mids do not exist. The only warrior mids that can be played are Wukong, Chalk. Those are only two gods that you can actually go a bunch of power on and be fine. You can't goat in jungle. You're not gonna go full power on Vamana, you're gonna die when you ult. And you need attack speed. It's just Wukong. That's it. This is literally a Wukong item. It's only buildable on Wukong. Which I mean is cool for Wukong, I guess. Earrings. I think this is basically just an Erendite tree, but new. I'm just skipping the T2s, I don't care. So this makes your projectile speed go faster, which I think is pretty close to hit scan from what I've heard. It's not hit scan, but it's close-ish. I don't expect this to be very good. I think. But, it depends on how OP this feels. If this is really good, and you just beam with it, maybe it's worth losing the 15% damage, but I don't know, we'll see. I haven't playtested it myself. I think Barra actually said he enjoyed it. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. The bauble, I heard that this thing is actually really bad. From the playtest, they said that they bought this and they were doing like no damage. And they couldn't even really tell if they had more CDR. So I don't know. We'll see. But the nice thing about these items is that they're very tunable. So if this ends up feeling not that impactful, they can maybe increase the projectile speed to like 50 or 60%, which could be pretty cool. So it's pretty tunable. Same with this, where maybe they could bump this up to like 70% to make it feel noticeable, or maybe reduce the ability damage decrease to like 15%. Yeah, from what I heard, this item is really shit and you don't really notice it, and the only thing you notice is not doing damage. So we'll see. I don't remember what this one does because it wasn't in the HP, or it wasn't in the playtest. 350 HP, 20% CCR, pretty good stats. No power, no prots, just health. Hard card control, they drop a spike on the ground. Oh yeah, I remember this now. They gain a buff that causes their next ability to deal bonus damage equal to 3% of their max HP. So basically, you just have to go pick up a random talent to do damage to them. It's just kind of weird. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see how this would ever be built. I don't get it. There's no prots, there's no power, there's just a solid HP 5, solid CCR. Spam through the two? No. I mean, the thing is, this item could be buildable, right? If there was good stats on it. It has a good amount of HP 5, or HP, like that's a lot of HP. But there's no prots, and there's no power, so I don't get the point of it. Maybe this is like a support item, if you want to do good damage. If you want to be like a damage dealer as a support. But again, I don't think this item can be built in its current state. Like, you cannot justify buying an item that has no prots or power on it. I mean, it's so bad. You need some kind of stats. Like, it just seems kind of unbuildable. I mean, there's just, yeah, I don't know. It's an okay passive. It seems very, very niche. Probably pretty bad. But the thing that makes it unbuildable is just there's no prots or power, so I just don't get it. Unlike these have pretty solid stats on them. This thing just, I don't know. I think this is literally unbuildable. This thing was really broken. I think it used to be 15% of their max HP, which was really broken. They tuned it down to 7.5, which I think is the number that makes sense. Happy to see that. And basically, if you're a healer, you're just gonna drop a bunch of fucking flowers. So if you're Guan and you 5-man stack, I think you drop 4 flowers. I don't think you drop one for yourself, right? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it drops from you. Yeah, so if 4 people stack on you, I think you'll drop 4 flowers. And then they can pick it up, and then they get a 7.5% HP 5 shield. That lasts for 8 seconds, which is probably gonna be good. No matter how much this shield health gets nerfed, I would assume this is gonna be very good. I mean, shielding on top of healing, it's just a combo that probably should never happen. Healing is already strong itself, and then you allow healing to give shields. I mean, we'll see. Luckily, this number can be tuned down, but I think 7.5 is a decent starting point. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. This seems like it could be a very, very broken item, and it could be very annoying, especially with the anti-heal changes. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, shields are OP in Smite, and healing is OP in Smite. And when you combine them both in one item like this, it's just probably destined to be broken, but we'll see. Also helps that there's a bunch of fucking MP5 on it, so you can spam your healing. No, they nerfed the anti-heal debuff time. And I think they did this just so that out of healing combat didn't feel annoying. Which is a buff to healing. Because before you could have the brawlers, or you could have brawling things, so you had reduced the global anti-heal debuff on you, and you could have anti-heal applied on you at the same time. And now you can only have one. You can only have either the anti-heal debuff on you, or the divine or brawlers or toxic, whatever, on you. So now, if you're out of healing combat, you're going to be only anti-healed by 40% at all times. So that's an overall buff to healing. And then this is another buff to healing. So they basically just buffed Bumbas. Like this is just a straight up buff. Yeah, I don't know. They reduced the cooldown. No one cares. You're already overcapping every time you built it. 150 health for a trade-off of 50 power. I think everyone in the game will agree that losing 150 health for 50 power is probably a worthwhile trade. And then they made the healing flat instead of your HP, which is another buff. Because most junglers, when you build probably 2 health items, you're not even hitting this healing amount off of Bumba's procs. So assassins that are squishy will be healing a fuck ton off of this flat 120 heal. But overall, I think this is better. Basically, what happened this patch is they changed Lotus to a starter, and they nerfed Bumbas for tanks. So they made Bumbas a lot less cheesy for, like, say, solo laners and other things, and it just is a lot more fair, I would say, and more intended for junglers. This healing is like somewhat in line, but like they'd be getting less than 120, 100%. They'd be getting like around like 80 to 90, I think last said. I don't completely remember. This is a buff. The healing is a buff, and the power is a buff, but at least this is now in line for junglers, and it's less cheesy for solo laners, and same with Lotus. So overall, just less cheese, more intended mechanics happening, which is gonna be cool. The passive is not a nerf. It isn't. This is not a nerf for junglers. It literally is not a nerf. This is a buff. A flat 120 heal is a buff for the majority of junglers. And the cooldown, no one cares. No one cares about your ultimate cooldown. You gain 50 power to lose non-ultimate cooldown. Like, no one cares. 50 power, do you realize how OP this is? This is a huge buff. 50 power on Bumba's Dagger is a huge, absolutely huge buff. This is a Bumba's buff, factually. No one cares about this thing, it's dog shit. No one cares about that, it's dog shit. These glyphs honestly just need to be removed and changed out. They're just really, really bad. This is the biggest change here probably, is that support's gonna upgrade at 15, and including Animosity. I don't know why, but you can upgrade Animosity to level 15 now. So you're probably gonna have to expect some Animosity bullshit coming out of solo on patch. With Ama, Vamana, probably Robin, Erlang. Yeah, there's gonna be some Animosity bullshit going for sure. 100%. Nah, Gilgamesh is horrible. So other than that, I do think support should be getting their items at level 15. I think that's a good play. Good buff. This is definitely an Erlang buff. Animosity is very good on Erlang. But I think this is a good change. Happy with it. Then they buffed Sentinels, which I think is fine. Benevolence is looking pretty much better in most situations right now. This is a good buff too. Relic Dagger, I think this is a revert, pretty sure. Which is Pog, I guess. Basically, supports are getting 50,000 buffs in this patch, which they're already a broken roll, but who cares? It's whatever. With how strong relics are right now, this is a very good buff. Horrific, shell. I mean, literally any relic in the game you name right now, they're all game changing when they're upgraded. So being able to have that up sooner, very good buff. Very strong buff. This is a very strong buff. Don't care though. Tyrannical, this is a horrible item, no one cares. Literally does not matter. This is a pretty big buff. Mail Renewal is kind of unviable right now. The strangest part about Mail Renewal is that you lose the procs from the passive when you heal. So having these base procs being higher, it'll be pretty good. 30 procs is around the mark where you can actually build things. Like say Pridwin, Urchin. Like once you're past the 30 to 35 prot ballpark, you can start building it. So I'd expect Mail Renewal to get built a lot more because it's actually in the buildable prot mark. So we'll see. Another buff to healing. A lot of buff to healing this patch, boys. Lots of buffs to healing. CCR doesn't matter. You're probably going to be overcapping with this stat change. But it'll feel better if you're only buying one item for CCR. But again, Sledge sucks ass. No one cares. This is a pretty interesting buff. Giving regrowth power, this is kind of a Herc buff. Another healing buff as well. So this is mainly a Herc buff, I would say, though. It's really the only god that you can build regrowth on, except for Baron. You can build this on Baron and Herc. Nausea as well, yeah. Those are about the three. Sobek too, Sobek. Only if you're Jake. Not Chalk. I would not build this in Chalk. So that's a solid buff for those 4 gods in the game. That's literally it. But it's a cool buff. You don't build this in Sylvanas, though. It's Sobek, Baron, Nausea, and Herc. That's about it. Horus, no. This is probably going to be the most game-changing buff in the whole patch. This is going to be broken. It's probably going to control the meta for a little bit until it gets nerfed. Yeah, Pythagorem is already a strong item. The pen was weird. The cooldown is a huge buff. Huge buff. And making it get another 50 health, this is already one of the tankiest items you can build early game. The amount of healing you get from this, I mean, the amount of stats you get from this, it's criminal. You give your healing yourself, you give all your teammates healing, or lifesteal, power, you're getting CDR, you're getting a lot of health early. This is going to feel very good for mid laners. It's going to feel very good for some Guardians and solo. This is just going to be a very dominant first item to build right now. It's just going to be, it's going to control the meta for a bit, to be honest. I would expect it to, at least. I mean, it just has every stat in the game you want at the start of the game. Like, first item, you want CDR to clear faster, to have better trades. You want lifesteal to sustain in lane. You want health, because health makes you very tanky early. 250 health, a lot of health for mages and guardians early. It's a lot of health. And the power, it's solid power. I mean, it's cheap. It's going to be very strong. You're going to end up building this in probably every role besides jungle, unless somehow guardian jungle has become a thing off this. It's just an insane buff. But overall, I do agree with it. The pen was really weird. Prefer to have the cooldown, even if it's broken. We'll see what happens. Mirrodin is just kind of shit, to be honest. The old passive was also really weird and niche and shit. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's just gonna decay so fast. I don't know. It's pretty shit. I think they just don't know what the fuck they're doing with Mirrodin, to be honest. It's just a... Again, this is something that's so niche, it'll probably never be built after, like, a first try. So they're adding crit reduction per stack on this, which is it's okay. I don't mind it, but the thing is, Celestial's already a shit item currently, and it's pretty unbuildable. So if you want to take less damage from crit, you're probably just gonna always build Spectral over this anyway. Because I mean, you're gonna lose these stacks going into the fight, and then you're gonna have no crit protection. So I don't really get the point. It's an interesting idea to start trying to put it on more items, but unfortunately, it's just not a consistent stat. When you buy this to be consistent, you want crit reduction to be consistent. And overall, Celestial is just a very weak item right now. It just needs buffs. But we'll see. Not a bad idea. I don't mind it. We'll see how it goes. Overall, it'll probably be very niche and pretty bad, but who cares? Brace of Illumination, no one cares. I kind of forgot this even existed in the game. Drowned Ankh, no one cares. I forgot this also existed in the game. Cloak of the Avatar, also forgot this existed in the game. Don't care. Instead of current health, this is now true damage. Could see some viability now. But probably 3 seconds in your cooldown is always going to be more valuable than this. But maybe 10% true damage could be good. So this is a pretty solid buff. It could be buildable now. Who knows? I don't know what the numbers are like. Trembling Terror, also forgot this existed in the game. No one cares. Also forgot this exists in the game. No one cares. This literally nerfs your tier 2 thorns. If you upgrade your tier 2 thorns to the tier 3 on either side, you are making your thorns worse. So, I mean, this item just needs to get increased reflect on it if it wants to be viable. Otherwise, your tier 2 thorns will literally always be better than this item. Do not buy this item. I forgot it existed. It's trash. Don't buy it. They changed DR from 2 stacks to 4 stacks now. And they gave it so that you can actually see your DR stacks, which is pretty cool. So DR is like a pretty unknown mechanic for most players. And it was also a very insanely game-changing mechanic. So it was weird to have something in the background that was so huge and game-changing that most people didn't even know about and didn't know how to keep track of it. So it's good that they're making this more, a lot more easy to see and know about. And they're also increasing it from 2 to 4. So now, with that, they can change certain CCs to be worth more stacks or less stacks. So I think stuns are like, true hard CCs are like stuns and knockups, everything like that. And they apply 2 DR stacks. Hard CC, which is a root, is now considered hard CC now, which is a pretty big change. I don't know if with this change, root will apply 1 stack of DR. Before it didn't apply any, but I don't know if it will reduce the root CC duration anymore. It would be nice to see if they clarified that. So I don't know if roots, the same as knockups aren't going to be faster now with the DR stacks. They've always applied DR. But yeah, roots previously did not apply DR. Now they do. They said that? So roots are gonna last, they're gonna be less time now off of DR. But knockups are the same though. Knockups won't go faster, right? There's no chance. The root will have reduced cooldown, okay. Okay, so yeah, roots are, that's a pretty big nerf. A lot of roots are very OP because they weren't affected by DR. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. That's a huge DR change. Which is honestly nice. Fuck roots. They're annoying as fuck. Knockups will be the same, roots are changed, so that's about it. Intoxicates and trembles are now soft CCs. So now if you're say Herc, I think his knockup will apply too. No, yeah, that's knockups. So there's certain CCs that apply multiple CCs, like what is it? Like you can slow and tremble at the same time. We'll see. Either way, it's a lot easier to tell how many stacks of DR you have now. Root's got a big nerf. And overall good changes to the DR system, I think. Then this is gods. Magi ult, send and banish, yeah. So certain abilities can basically go past 2 or 3, depending on how many CCs they have in it. This is a cool buff, I guess. I love this personally. I'm an Akwang enjoyer. This passive is really OP when you build tanky. Love to see that. This doesn't really matter too much. This is a big buff. So they're buffing a fuck ton of healing, but thankfully they're buffing Serb. So you'll now have 25%, which is basically just pesty on people. Love to see that. And a revert. This is like one of the strangest nerfs that they've done, to be honest. It was like the most uncalled for nerf. Serb caught a bunch of shit left and right that he never even deserved. So it's cool to see some buffs back on him. His 2 is still pretty gutted, but these are solid buffs. Cupid increased the healing, of course they did. Why wouldn't they buff more healing this patch? Buff the clear, buff the healing. For some reason they love healing this patch. It's getting them rock hard, buffing healing this patch. Disco buffs don't seem too relevant. Just 20 base damage, a second offer 3. This is a strong buff. Right now, if you play Hera correctly, right now, you can basically have no cooldown on your Argus with your autos and your abilities, so you're gonna have Argus up even more. If you're playing Hera properly now, you'll probably permanently have Argus. There'll be almost no downtime on it, which is pretty fucking cringe. Fuck Hera, hate Hera. Don't love to see that. Another hurt buff, decreasing the cooldowns again, pretty solid. Another second off your 2, and his driving strike down to 13. Pretty short cooldowns now, they're pretty solid. You know, honestly, I would say bring it from 14 to maybe 10, maybe 8, maybe 2, but I'll take the 1 second. Her could be pretty. This is a decent buff. Nothing game changing, but it's okay. On top of the regrowth buffs, pretty solid. Pretty solid. Hunbats is now knock immune and knockback immune. Pretty big. Hunbats has been pretty dog shit for a while now. He's basically got that's only ever in meta when his ult's OP. His 2 is pretty weird because it just takes so long to get off. Most of the time you can never use it because you just get interrupted. Or you have more DPS from your autos. So, solid change. Okay damage. The biggest change here is going to be the early game, probably. The early damage, don't look at this end number, the early is going to be pretty big, probably. But, I don't know, he's probably going to be shit still. Nike, 2 seconds into 1. Increased damage into 2. These buffs don't matter, this god's shit. Her 1 doesn't do enough damage to actually threaten you in lane right now. It doesn't poke hard enough. Her ult is gutted. Just a bad god right now, this won't matter. Same with Humbats, this buff probably won't matter. The biggest thing here is the knock-up immunity. That's pretty nice. That's a big change. Increased return damage, 20 to 30. Doesn't matter. This god's still going to be shit. Could run some rank, though. A revert for Circuit. Gonna have a lot better clear now. And increase the damage mitigation from 35 to 50%. Oh, God. Oh, I hate this character. That's kind of cringe, but... overall, this is a strong buff, I'll be honest. Buffing her 1 is a really big deal. And giving her 15% damage mitigation, I mean, if I'm being honest, you're gonna see Circuit support next patch with Lono's mask as her starter item and running this bullshit. So yeah, expect to see some more Circuit in jungle and expect to see Circuit in support again with the Lono start item. I can't wait. I'm very excited for that. I'm so excited. So another thing they're trying to do is they're trying to make some gods with their second role be playable in their second role. So like say Danza, his second role would typically be jungle. Mori's second role would typically be jungle. And I guess Ares Don't know why, but so they're trying to like kind of slowly give some little buffs that are mainly for their second role, which is kind of interesting. Probably never going to be like good at all, but it's just fun. It allows some viability in another role, just a little bit. This probably won't matter, but we'll see. Maybe this can make them pretty decent in jungle. Maybe playable. So that's pretty cool. Unfortunately, where they just do like slight little extra damage buffs for jungle to help their clear, right? For their second role. Chang'e's second role is actually solo. So what they did is they almost increased her base HP at level 1 from by 100. Why not, guys? It's her second role. Let's give her 100 HP, am I right? And let's also give her 15% extra damage to minions. So now she's gonna outclear you, and she's gonna be tanky as fuck. I mean, what, guys? We're just trying to make her a little bit more viable in solo, right? So what this does is, when you increase someone's base health by almost 100 for their second role, that makes that better in every role. She'll be much better in mid now because of this. This is a fuck ton of health. She'll be a lot better in solo because of this. Don't get me wrong. But she's going to be very good at mid with this. And this 15% extra damage to minions is a very big deal. This is going to give you a fuck ton of clear. You are going to clear very well. So, I just don't get where they go off the train of doing these small buffs that can only buff their second role. This isn't going to buff ADC downs it too hard, right? Maybe he'll clear his purple a little bit faster. But like, what the fuck is this? Let's give her almost 100 more HP at level 1. And then give her damage to minions? Like, she already cleared well enough with Conduit, man. I just don't get it. You're gonna have some of the best clear in the game with this change. So this is gonna be broken. I don't know what the fuck they're thinking. You're gonna go Pythags, Chang'e solo with the fucking where is it? You're gonna go Phase Blessing. You're gonna drop 7.5% of health, 7.5% health shields on the ground for everyone, and then you're gonna go Conduit. And you're gonna full clear the wave at level 1 with your 100 extra HP at level 1. You're gonna be tanky as fuck, and then you're gonna go into Pythags, and you're gonna have CDR. You're gonna out heal everyone. You're gonna out clear everyone. You're gonna do more damage. You're gonna be tankier than everyone. I don't know what the fuck they're thinking, dude. But that's what they've done. On top of all the brawlers nerfs, all the anti-heal nerfs, and here we are. So Chang'e's gonna be OP. Cool. I'm excited to play that. This is now, I think this is 80% right now. Yeah, it's at 80% right now. Wait. Hold on. Yeah, no, didn't say 80%. So this, they're trying to make it more viable in solo, give them some more clear, but, I mean, 20%, I mean, this doesn't matter. Thor getting this slight amount of damage on his hammer won't matter. He's still a shit solo. He's just too inconsistent. There's a lot of other issues with Thor than his clear, but you know, cool buff, I guess. And they're buffing Zhong prots. Buffing Zhong prots, I guess. Cool. So yeah, expect probably Chang'e's, Zhong's, Barons, everyone building Pythags, and a lot of healing. So it's gonna be an interesting patch. And then they're adding it so that they can basically buff. They can do nerfs or buffs for other game modes than Conquest, so that finally you can kind of separate the balance. Was actually really big, because a lot of times they want to buff Opwash for say Conquest, but they can't because he's fucking broken in other game modes. So this is a cool change. It's a pretty big thing. They can actually start to give buffs properly, because before they had to balance around so many game modes with like say Duel and Conquest and everything. So it's a cool change. It opens a lot of doors. Whoever thought about this, Giga Chad, 5 head, love to see it. Cool. Don't care about these changes though, because I don't play these game modes. But it is cool because it opens the door for a lot of things. And yeah, it's a patch. A lot of cool new items. And healing overall is going to be very big this patch. Pythags is going to control the meta probably. Chang'e is going to be OP. And a lot of more niche gods are going to be pretty viable, probably. And some items are going to be pretty viable. And some juicer skins, you know what I mean? So don't mind. Don't mind if I do. I'm just going to recolor. But yeah, that's it. Now you guys can stop asking about patch notes. Boys, now it's gamer time.